Today I want to do something a little different. I know there's some of you guys that aren't really going to enjoy this kind of thing, but it's something I get a lot of questions on, and I kind of want to share it. I get a lot of questions on how I make my videos, what I do to get set up and things like that, and also what kind of equipment I use. Today it's raining out, so I've got plenty of time to mess around, make some videos, and that's one question that you guys ask quite a bit. How do you find the time to do the YouTube thing and make the videos? What I mean by saying you gotta make time to do it is you really just have to enjoy it. It's gotta be something that you want to do. This started out as kind of my hobby. I've always enjoyed making videos. This was just natural to me. The only unnatural thing to me was being in front of the camera. I always like to be behind the camera. And that is another reason for the glasses. Is, you know, I always felt kind of awkward, and it gives me that little thing. Also, I have a horrible tendency to look at the screen, which is above this camera. My other camera is to the right of it. But I have this horrible tendency to look at the screen instead of the lens. So it just kind of looks funny to me when I'm editing it. I'm just kind of like looking off over here, looking up here. The glasses help. It hides that, keeps me from just kind of constantly looking like this instead of looking right at you guys. But back to making time for YouTube. Like I said, it's really got to be something that you enjoy doing. It's got to be something you want to do, and you will definitely make time for it. And that's really the best answer I can give whenever I have guys ask me, you know, how do you find the time to make the videos and do these things? Well, that's really it. It's something I want to do so much. And now Brian's calling me while I'm talking to the camera. What's up? You're on camera. You're on camera.
Awesome. Hey everybody, how's it going?
You're interrupting the vlog where I'm trying to teach everybody why I do YouTube.
Okay, well, I guess this would be an important part of the vlog because we talk a lot, right?
Exactly. There we go. That's actually perfect. Well, I got you on the phone. I was answering the question that I get the most, that is, how do you find time for YouTube? So I want you to, without knowing what I answered, I want you to answer the same question and let them see what you say.
Alright, so how do I find time for YouTube? Well, if anybody's followed me this year, you'll know that there was quite a long time where I didn't find time for YouTube. Honestly, it's just one of those things that, you know, it's something that you enjoy doing as a hobby or whatever. You find time to do it, you know, and, you know, you just have to find time, and that's just what we do.
Okay, so I kind of knew what his answer was going to be. Of course, this is something he and I have talked about. Like he was saying, we do talk a lot about YouTube and the strategy side of YouTube and how to better your channel and things to do to help the channel. So we talk a lot about that, and like I said, I knew his answer was going to be the same as mine. I just had that feeling. That's really what it comes down to, is you just make the time for it because it is something you enjoy. I would definitely tell you, if you enjoy making the videos and editing the videos, go for it. I mean, just put content out. I mean, that's the best way to grow your channel. The more content you can put out, the faster you can put it out, the better your channel is going to grow. So another question I get a lot of the times is, what gear do I use? My main camera is this Canon T6i. I use a Joby pod on the bottom. These things are pretty nice. Sometimes the little joints will pop out of place, but for the most part, it works good. I really like it. This camera, I don't really carry it with me out on like job sites. This one is more for like doing videos right here where you see the background of my workbench and all that. Typically I'll use this. I do run a 10 to 18 lens which is a wide angle lens. That way you're able to get a huge background. You also get that little bit of bokeh, which is where the foreground is in focus and the background is out of focus. That lens is what does that for you. I just added this little dead cat. I made a video a couple weeks ago about my new trailer. It had a lot of wind sound in it, so I went ahead and bought that for this Rode video mic. This is just the Video Go mic. This is the one that does not use a battery. It just runs off of the battery in the camera. This is actually a new piece of equipment I just got. If you've seen Wally over at Beach River, he got one of these. He had it at GIE. I was watching some of his videos, kind of checked it out while I was there, and I just hit him up and I'm like, which one did you get, man? Because the videos were so smooth that I kind of wanted to try one of these things out. I don't even know really how to say the name, but it's the Smooth Q. I'll actually put a link down below in the description if you want to check it out. I got it on Amazon. Just click on that link, check it out from there. I think it was $129 is what I paid for it, or maybe $139. I really haven't used it a whole lot. I'm gonna do some shots with it today in these videos I'm gonna be making. I'm excited about it. I mean, after seeing his footage and how smooth it was, that's really what made me want to try it out. It does work with any cell phone. That's the main mount. I also purchased a separate little mount to go on here where you can put your GoPro on this. I'm gonna try that out. I haven't got it yet. It hasn't come in the mail. Hopefully that thing works and I can also use my GoPro with this. The other equipment I use is GoPros. I've got just like the little square one, the GoPro Session, and then I have two GoPro 3s. I use those here and there. I use the Session more than anything just because it's so small, easy to carry. And that's what I get a lot of my shots where you see me just out mowing. I'm using that GoPro Session most of the time. And then there's the Canon G7X, which is the one I'm talking to right now. This camera, you know, is what I started my channel with. It is a great point and shoot camera. I still really like it. This is kind of my beat up camera. It's the one that I take with me every day whenever I'm out on job sites. It's the one I talk to a lot in the truck. I know I could take the big camera, but it's just so big, bulky, and heavy. It does do like a crisp shot, so I like using it here on like the garage area and making these videos. The other question I get a lot is what I use to do all my editing. I run Mac, so I use iMovies. It's just the free version that comes with your Mac. I think is a great starter platform. It's easy to use, it's easy to figure out, and you know, for making YouTube videos, it works really good. Now let's get started. I gotta get some videos made. I'm gonna show you kind of how I set up and get things ready to make my videos. I'm gonna start using this little guy, getting some of my B-roll shots. Now let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna start making some of my videos. I'll kind of show you how I get set up and what I do and how I go about making them. Now the first thing I do is I get the tripod set up. This is gonna be kind of my static shot that I'm gonna main camera talk to. And then I'm going to use the gimbal for all my B-roll stuff. This is just a cheap tripod from Walmart. I flip it around so the handle is actually facing forward. That way while I'm sitting down I can tilt and move the camera around without having to keep walking around the little table. So I just start out by moving the camera around, watching the screen on there, getting the shot exactly how I want it. Sometimes I'll zoom in or out a little bit depending on kind of what kind of angle I want. Once I get that set, then I'm ready to get started with the video and actually start talking to the camera. Usually for me, it's the beginning of the video that's the hardest, getting like that start, finding a way. I think that's why you see a lot of guys, they have their little taglines at the beginning, is because that's kind of their way to get started, to find a way to start talking. I don't really know if I've ever found one of those. I've tried to stay away from it the best I can, but I think it just naturally happens to you. You just have that that, I guess it turns into kind of your tagline. At this point, I'm gonna take this camera, I'm gonna set it off to the side a little bit because I'm gonna start talking to the other camera and get started with this video. So the way I make my thumbnail is I actually take video and I'll try to kind of move it around, make several different shots of what I like, and then when I'm editing, I just pull a picture or a screenshot of that moment out of the video, and I use that as a JPEG and use that as my thumbnail. What I'm doing with the gimbal right now is getting a lot of B-roll shots, trying to get some just sweeping shots, things like that. As you can see, I sit there and I do it over and over and over again. You really can't get too much footage. I'd rather have too much once I'm in there editing than not enough and have to come back out here, set everything up, and kind of film again. So that's really it, guys. I just spend a lot of time sitting in front of the camera, talking to the camera. There's a lot of, I'll say stuff and I don't like it, I say it again, or I try saying it a different way. Don't be afraid to just sit here and, you know, say the same thing over and over again to get it right, to get it the way that sounds the best for you. That's kind of what I always try to do. I'm not a fast talker by any means, and I'm not really that good with just spouting stuff off. I have to actually put a little thought into it and think about it, and find the best words and what to say. I also mess up a lot whenever I'm talking, and I end up having to say it over again because I can't get the words out or they don't come out right. For me, there's a lot of just messing up and having to say the same thing over because of that also. Don't be afraid. Whenever I first started this, I was always like scared to mess up. You can edit all that out. If you mess up, whatever, just, you know, start over, say it again, until you can get it right. Guys, I know this was a way different kind of video than I typically do, and I know it's not for everybody, but if you did enjoy this video and you'd like to see more vlogs like this, hit that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate you guys. The channel has been growing like crazy lately, and it's because of you guys sharing the videos, talking about the videos, and being a part of this community. And I just want to say I appreciate all you guys.